Are you a filmmaker looking for budget-friendly gear? In today's video, I'm going to give you my complete toolkit breakdown. And the best part is most of the gear fits in this small size bag. I do want to clarify, when we're talking about budget-friendly items, I'm not talking about cheap items. There are plenty of cheap items out there, but if you are somebody who spends a lot of time creating videos, whether you are a filmmaker or a videographer, I personally make a living off of creating videos with my clients, and I have found that going the cheap route, well, you end up spending more money going that route because the quality isn't there. So the budget items that I'm going to go over today really have quality in mind. And at the end of the day, I just want a reliable, compact setup that I can go out and I can either create YouTube videos like this, or I can make money with client work. And this is the kit that I'm currently using. This is the sample office space that I'm going to share with you today. And as you can see, this room is nice and big. There are a number of different angles we can work with. There are 2 large size windows. And if you look outside those windows, there is movement outside of those windows. There's a freeway entrance right behind. So you're going to see cars in one angle potentially. And then in the other angle, you could see people because there is a parking garage outside of that window. There are 2 separate desks that we can work with. And then also we have a bunch of decorations and lighting that we can use in the background of these setups. So this is the space we're working with today, and I'm going to show you how I set up the lighting, the camera, also all of the audio, and all of the little considerations that I make when setting up this shot. Look, there are a ton of cameras out on the market that fall under budget friendly, but the camera that I have been recommending and still recommend is the Sony FX30 paired with the Sigma 18 to 50 millimeter f2.8 lens. So this is an APS-C camera. The 18 to 50 is going to give you about a 24 to 70 millimeter lens equivalent if you were using a full frame camera. And I just love the setup. I go with Sony right now because this is the most reliable setup. Now, if you are going to be videoing for a long period of time, the one thing that I constantly worry about is my camera overheating. With the FX30, I have very rarely run into overheating issues. The autofocus is completely reliable. The colors coming out of this camera are fantastic. And so this is the budget-friendly setup that I am recommending in 2025. Take a look at this tripod. This is the tripod I am going to use in this particular example. And this is a tabletop tripod. It's a carbon fiber tripod made by Benro. It's nice and lightweight. It can actually extend fairly tall. I do find a lot of tabletop tripods don't typically get as tall as I need them to get. But if you remember the example that we're working with today, there are 2 large size desks. When I'm shooting just a roll only or talking head video only, then I'm only going to be using a desktop tripod. This is the one that I go with, and it packs down nice and light, super lightweight. Great tripod, and you'll see this again later on in the video when I show you how I pack everything in a small size package. For audio, I am going with this wireless microphone system. It is the Hollyland Lark M2S. Now I have the 2 microphone setup, and see this little cord right here? I don't know why manufacturers are doing it, but they'll give you this nice charging case. You can place your transmitters, which in this case is 2 microphones, a receiver in this little rechargeable case, but for some reason they don't give you a spot to place your cable. But with this system, what I really like about it is it comes with a dongle. Here's the dongle. And it will plug right into your phone. So if for some reason you forget the cable, which I've done before, all you have to do, this is a receiver as well. You can just plug it into your phone. You can use your microphones as normal, and you can just record directly to your phone. You will have to sync that audio in post, but it is a nice backup option just in case. Now, this is the microphone right here. This is why I like these. They're nice and small in size. It looks like a small sized button. Again, just nice and simple and straightforward microphone system that I really enjoy using for my budget setup. A couple of downsides to this particular microphone system is that they do not record internally, so there isn't a way to back up your audio. It doesn't record in 32-bit float or anything like that. It's just going to record audio directly into the file on your camera. So what does this mean? You're just going to have to go old school a little bit and monitor your audio. So these are the earbuds that I use, just some generic earbuds. I have them, this is a little case by Budley, like a cable management case. This is really great. You just wrap your cable just like so. I can just make this nice and clean. So just throw in a pair of earbuds. I'll place a link to these particular ones down in the description. But yes, I do recommend if you do go with this particular microphone system by Hollyland, then make sure you're monitoring your audio. See this light right here? This is a panel light made by LumeCube. Now, I have the 2-panel system. This kit comes with everything that you need. It comes with 2 panel lights. Everything folds down into a nice small size kit. Now these are rechargeable, so I always charge them ahead of time. They'll run for a couple of hours at about 35 to 45%. They give you a nice color. And again, this is a budget friendly setup. It's nice and compact and small. A couple of things I love about these lights, in addition to them being very small, compact, and light, is that you can adjust the intensity all the way down to 1% or 5%. Lots of panel lights won't give you those micro adjustments, and this panel light will. You can adjust the color to be bicolor or as bright as you'd like, even down to the cable size. And this panel kit will accommodate most lighting conditions. This might be my favorite part of this entire setup, and that is that everything I just covered, apart from the lighting kit, fits in this small size wandered bag. If you open up the top here, I've got camera, I've got the wireless microphones in here, I have the earbuds in here, I even have a spare battery all in here. This is the Rogue Sling 6-liter new bag by Wandered, and check it out, that tabletop tripod can just go in the bottom of this bag. And if you want to take a laptop with you, typically on these types of shoes, I'm not going to take my 13-inch laptop. I'm actually going to take my 11-inch iPad. All I have to do is slide it in, and you can see on the back of this bag, it's got an expandable pocket for things like iPads, laptops. Now, your laptop is going to hang out of the top a little bit, so I do prefer to use my iPad in this situation. I can zip it up. That way, if I need to, look at my calendar while I'm on site with a client, if I need to pull up scripts or anything like that, or if I need to look at footage while I'm on site, I can easily use my iPad to do all those things. So I just throw all of my equipment into this small size bag, and I'm ready to go. And now we have all the equipment we need, nice compact size, budget friendly. Let's talk about how we're going to set things up in this particular room. And what I have chosen to do is to place my client at their desk. They're already comfortable there. Their computer's right there, so they can pull their script up right next to them. And I'm going to use both of the panel lights to shine light on both sides of their face. And then what I've done is I've angled them in such a way where there's still going to be a window behind them, but it's really going to act more like a hair light rather than being something that's in the background. So if I did move my client directly in front of either of these windows, the panel lights that I take with me are not going to be bright enough to shine her face up bright enough to really make it so that the lighting that's coming through those windows doesn't overpower the shot. But I am using that light to my advantage in this situation. I'm just going to make a couple of adjustments to the background decorations, the light that's in the background, along with, she has a couple of plants in the office space. So I'm going to clear all that off, and then I'm going to use that tabletop tripod. I'm going to set it on the desk on the other side of the room, and I'm going to make sure that my client's all plugged up with their wireless microphone. I will definitely monitor their audio using my earbuds, and this is a nice budget-friendly setup that I can use in this space. I do have that 18 to 50 millimeter lens, so I can frame the shot however I'd like. without having to move the camera around or have the camera in a specific location. Like if I'm using like just a 24 millimeter, or in this case, a 16 millimeter lens for this shot. And this is the approach that I'm taking for the talking head portion of the video. Now for this particular client, what I do is I just use stock footage for B-roll. I use Artlist. This video is not sponsored by anyone, by the way, or Artlist, but I do typically use Artlist for any B-roll. I have also had this particular client for a long period of time, so we can pull from footage that we've captured along the way while we're out and about to fill the appropriate B-roll for this particular video. And now here's the best part. Everything that I covered in today's video fits in this small size package. All I have to do is throw that sling bag over my shoulder and carry that really lightweight lighting kit in to wherever I'm shooting for the day, and it's going to give me everything that I need. Now, if there's anything that is missing from this setup, or if you would use something different, let me know in the comments below. In the next video, I'm going to be doing something very similar, but with my video podcast kit. I'm going to give you that complete breakdown, how I pack everything up, and the considerations that I take when I am setting up a video podcast. So if you want to check out that video, then I encourage you to hit the subscribe button down below. And always, if you like these videos, it's super helpful to give it a thumbs up. Thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll see you again in the next video.